Hey guys, before we dive into the show, I wanted to tell you about the perfect trailer cue blueprint, which is 100% free and you can download it right now over at thetrailermusicschool.com/blueprint. Now, this blueprint will help you to completely understand the structure of trailer music, how to build tracks that will be more licensable and have more impact and capture the right people's attention. So whenever you start writing a cue, make sure you've got this blueprint to hand and you can use it to help speed up your process, feel more confident that you've crafted a well-structured trailer cue before you send it off to that publisher or editor or supervisor. Okay, let's get into the episode.
One man, one microphone, and one medium-sized coffee. Welcome to the Trailer Music Composers Podcast.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the show. So the other day I went for a drink with a friend of mine. You may know him from a previous episode, Dave Carr, another trailer music composer, an all-round legend. And we went for a drink to catch up, and I was walking back. It was a nice warm day. It was late. It was dark, and I was walking back through this country lane, and I had only my iPhone torch to keep me company. And I was walking along this lane, and I was thinking how much this is like a visual metaphor of being a creative person, of being someone who has this desire and burning to create stuff regardless of whether there's money or not. A lot of us have been in this situation where our creations haven't brought us in money, but we still did it anyway because we loved it and we wanted to get to a certain point, whether that certain point ahead was a piece of music or piece of art or piece of work being finished, or whether that was a group of art or a collection of work, or whether that was to be published, or whether that was to, make it our full-time income. So it's like the noisiest motorbike in the world. Probably wasn't. But anyway, so we're kind of traveling from point A to point B, whatever your point A and point B are. And they talk about this a lot in sort of mindset stuff, where it's all about the journey. You should enjoy the process. It's all about the process and the journey, and I totally agree with that. But sometimes the journey from point A to point B feels really shit and difficult, right? I think this is the first time I've ever sworn on the show. Because I was walking, I'm not saying the journey home from the pub was that bad, difficult, but it was dark. It was a narrow country lane that was sort of windy. I couldn't see very far ahead of me and had a rubbish little torch. And I was just thinking, this is such an amazing metaphor, because when we're creating, we're trying to get from point A to point B, but sometimes it just feels like we don't even know where we're going. We can't even see where we're going. We can't even see what we're doing. We have to trust the process. In this instance, I trusted that the road would get me back home, which it did, ultimately. Woohoo! But at some point, it's almost like creativity is like that journey from in this dark country lane, but you don't know if this path is the one that's going to take you to point B, to where you want to go. And I'm talking not just on the microcosm when it's relating to individual pieces of work, but also the macrocosm with our career and our life. We don't know if what we're doing, if the actions we're taking, if the steps we're taking are going to take us to the place that we want to be. We just have to trust the process. And that's so hard, because you know what? It feels like you're so alone. And it feels like you're walking around in the dark with a rubbish torch, hoping that you're somehow this little path you've chosen is going to take you to the, magical city. It is a bit like the scene in Indiana Jones, only the penitent man shall pass. Except we don't have I don't have a handful of stones that's going to throw throw light on the path, or maybe I do, In fact, I think I do. And I think this is what this is actually a little bit about. Trusting the process, because we have to trust the little quiet voice in us. And I've mentioned the quiet voice before, whether you call that your intuition, whether you call that your higher soul, whether you call that your conscience, whether you call that God or the universe. There's a little voice that speaks very quietly that says, keep going. And it's really quiet. Especially with all the noise of, if I'm working on a track for, say, oh God, this is rubbish. Oh no, what am I doing? Oh, I'm a failure. I'm such a fake, all the standard stuff we all think when we're producing art and music and whatever it is. But there's a voice that says, keep going. And that's what you have to trust. And sometimes it gets to the point where it feels scary because you turn back on yourself and you can't see where you've come from and you're still just trusting. I know I'm really stretching the metaphor here, but I wanted to kind of talk about this because it's one of those things that we don't often talk about with each other. This how we're all just almost blindly following our little rubbish iPhone torch and that little quiet voice that's telling us that we're going in the right direction. I've had it sometimes when I felt like I've heard the quiet voice telling me to go in this direction. I've gone in that direction and I've gone, wait a second, that wasn't the real quiet voice. That was an imposter and I've got somewhere I didn't want to be. So it is really difficult, this life and journey as a creative. And I kind of want to say to you, I'm going to extend the metaphor even more. You're not on your own in the dark. So I just want to imagine this picture, right? In those films, this is a horrible picture, imagine the setting, but I just want the picture, not the context. In that film when someone goes missing and they go, oh yeah, we've all got to search the woods. So the whole village comes out with torches and they're walking in a line in the dark, in the woods, searching for what they presume is a body. Right, let's remove the context of that image. But here we are, a group of people all looking for something in the dark together with a torch. That's us, guys. You feel like you're alone because you're so focused on your own stuff, your own torch and your own path. But we're all walking in line together on our own paths, trying to get to this point. So this is, for me, is one of those episodes which is kind of like a pat on the back for me and a warm hug for you. It's just keep doing that thing that you want to keep doing and listen to that little voice that says, this is the thing that excites me and this is the thing I really, truly want, no matter how much it scares the absolute poop out of you. Because that thing you want is one of the reasons you're here, to experience having that thing or to experience endeavoring for that thing or to experience everything in between for that. Whether that's creative fulfillment, whether that's financial things, or whatever it is that your soul is yearning for, that really lights the fire. It's such an important thing for you to understand and to be aware of. And, I do suggest you sit down and do a little journaling on this. It's just, almost like open-ended journaling, not kind of Virginia Woolf style, but we're just sitting down and it's like a stream of consciousness. You're letting all the junk come out on the paper. That sounds horrible. I don't mean that junk. You're letting all your issues and fears and worries come out and you keep writing. So I'd suggest an A4 pad. Keep writing. Fill one side of it, no matter what it is, even if it's rubbish, even if it's like, oh, I'm tired, oh, I'm sad, I missed the last episode of Succession, that type of thing. Even if it's that, just write it down until you get to the stuff. You're going to kind of sift through the weeds first, and then you're going to start to hit the gold, which is where you go, okay, this is what really matters to me. This is what I have been yearning for. This is what I need to do, and this is why I'm here. And you'll find it really soothing. I've been doing a lot of journaling stuff, and I don't want to say soul searching, because that makes you... Soul searching, the thing I don't like about the term soul searching is this kind of like, oh, I'm lost soul searching, which I suppose you are. But it's kind of just like reassessing. It's like an internal MOT, not of your internal body, but of your spiritual MOT, maybe I should call it. Making sure that you are being there for yourself and for your creative self. Because then you know what you're going to get. You'll get to that point where you come out of that dark patch with your torch and you look up and there's the thing that you were hoping you'd get to. And you turn to your side and you see everybody else getting to where they wanted to. And it's wonderful. I'm sure Dave won't mind me sharing that, he recently went full-time as a composer. And, I know Dave through my wife's family, her cousin. So we've kind of been touching base for quite a long time. So it's amazing to see Dave emerge into the wonderful world of full-time composition. Being a full-time composer. So, yeah, it's fantastic. And I think the thing I want to say to you guys is we're all in this together. So it's nice to be supportive of each other and always remember to check in on yourself, spiritually and emotionally and practically. Is the stuff I'm doing today gonna get me to where I want to go? Can I do something today that's going to get me to where I want to go? And like I said, you can use this on the tiniest level and also the biggest level, micro and macro. And listen to that little voice. Listen to it. You know the one I'm talking about. Not the one that's really loud, but the one that's really quiet. So yeah, I know it's a bit of a, I won't say left field, but it was I haven't had a woo-woo episode for a while, I don't like the term woo-woo. It's just easy to say woo-woo because you guys know what I'm talking about. Meta, maybe, we haven't talked about metaphysical matters for a while. But my little voice said to me, record this episode because you need it and someone else needs it. And that's kind of, the little voice was the one that told me to do the podcast. It was one of the greatest things I've done. So listen to the little voice, guys. I'm pretty sure I hear your little voice and it's saying, leave Rich a review. Definitely saying that. Yeah, shameless plug. But, hey-ho. I know you guys are listening. I know you're listening, those of you who haven't yet left me a review. Please just take a moment to do it. It really does make a difference to the show. And also, it's just a good job for my ego too, to see that I'm actually really helping people and you guys have got nice things to say about what I'm doing. So I hope you guys had a good week and I hope you have a good week and I will see you in the next episode.
Amazing.